Hey everybody, welcome to Forge Narrative. It's our live Monday night webcast. It is 10 p.m. Eastern time on a Monday night. I got Jay True with me in the house tonight.
What's up, players?
Looks like the internet is hating Chris Morgan right now, but he's trying to join us as well. Nice to see some folks getting in the Q&A. Chris, Coach, coming in from Family Gamers. Bill says he's building a plasma obliterator right now, and that the model is full of flash and mold lines. I mean, that's... You know, there was a time period, I think, like right after 5th edition when that new Marine kit came out, that there was like plagued with mold lines.
Yeah,
They've been better recently.
Yeah, the Blood Angels kit for the Terminators and the TAC Marines, they were pretty good. Those are some of the newer kits. I haven't really dug deep. I got the AdMech guys, but I haven't taken them off the sprue yet, so I haven't got to see the ins and outs of them. But the infantry is doing good, so it's unfortunate that the buildings are seeming like they're taking some mold lines, huh?
Yeah, especially on a limited release, kind of premium kit too. But who knows? This could have been one that they had originally that they just recently decided to put out some rules for, and they were kind of going. I mean, I don't know that to be the case, but I'm just trying to come up with some reason why it might have kind of fallen behind, or maybe that's why it was limited because the mold itself started breaking down too quick.
Yeah, it could be. So, a follow-up question then, is it going together good at least? Maybe, you can throw that in the chat for us too.
Yeah. Ricky, man, what's up? Keegan, good to see you. Joshua, it's like Chris Gardner coming in. Clint, man, Steve Booley, guys, thanks for joining us. Have you guys had a chance to see the Assassin game that's coming out?
I saw some leaks. There's one video that I got to watch, but it was real short, but it is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think this is, now follow me out here. Is this a cry for help from Games Workshop? Is this a signal to other possible board game designers out there that the miniatures currently in release, for the 40K game are applicable to other types of properties like board games that could be easily packaged and put on a box or put on a shelf?
That's a great question. I mean, we got Space Hulk. So that was our first kind of delve in this. Now we got the Assassins. You got these dual kits, basically, if you think about it. You're getting your board game, you're getting your 40K. I hope to see some more stuff. I mean, the IP is just too good to not be out there more.
Well, what this game and other games, like it suffer from is that you can't really just put it on a small amount of shelf space. You've got to have a whole wall. But now, if they're going to design these kind of games like this, they're showing that you can get some space on a shelf at maybe a toy shop or wherever, a local store that doesn't take up a whole wall. And this is showing other companies like, hey, maybe we can license our figures to you like we've done, to other things in the past. I don't know, just putting it out there.
Man, if I saw 40K at Target, my life is complete. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this is not the first time, like you pointed out, that we've seen 28 millimeters scale figures in a board game. It goes all the way back to Talisman, where for fantasy figures, and also in things like Space Hulk. But if I had to guess, they're trying to capture some of that board game market because board games are huge right now.
Yeah, they're very popular. There's a lot of great games out there. Myself, I play Zombicide like all the time, sometimes by myself. Hey. I don't even care. I don't even care.
Yeah, why not, right? But that goes to show, that again, people are playing them, and this is something that they can do. They can be dynamic enough to do it, and if it gets us more 40K miniatures, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I mean, the pictures that we've seen, those sculpts look so great, such dynamic poses and stuff. I was like blown away. They are just above and beyond doing amazing.
Eric Weir's saying he doesn't really like the way that the weapons look. So they're almost kind of like too cartoony, bigger than the miniatures themselves. But man, I'll be honest, I like them. I'm not a big fan of the big scenic bases they seem to be sending everything out with, again, because I'm a player and I don't want to jack with my line of sight, especially an assassin that's supposed to be hiding or whatever.
That's true, yeah.
But I mean, there's that kind of 40K aesthetic. I mean, even the weapons on the Harlequins are kind of bigger than they probably should be, I think.
Yeah, the scale on those, I thought maybe they could have toned them down just slightly, but you know what? It still looked good though. and coming from like a a gaming standpoint, when you're looking at these things from way up where we're at, and they're so small, and say it's 4 feet away, it doesn't look that big. It actually looks like it fits. So that could be.
I guess, and I paint from a 3 foot away standard, so that's fine with me. Boxcar 40K, good to see you. Lamont, thanks for checking in. Chris, I'm with you, man. I like the miniatures. I think they're going to be cool, and I'm really interested in the game. Like, I mean, once you start adding up what all the figures inside would cost you, the game's a pretty good deal. I mean, I don't. Yeah. The rumor that I've heard is it's not going to be limited. You'll be able. This will be on the shelf, and you can just buy it whenever you want. Now, I'm not saying no. If you get it, if you want it, because I don't know that to be true. This is just what I've read over the last couple of days.
Yeah, when you get the Chaos Sorcerer or Terminator Chaos Lord kit.
Yeah, the Chaos Lord, some Cultist. What is that?
3 Marines, I think.
Yeah, Chaos Marines. Chaos Marines, yeah, the little box set they sell.
Yeah, so I mean that's not too bad. You know, the Chaos Lord kit's pretty cool. I like it.
That kit has a great number of bits in it. I mean, that base that it comes with, the Chaos Star, and I think there's a Kami Melta in there, which are always valuable.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is one of the. I didn't expect him to put other 40K miniatures in this box.
I mean, hopefully we see this more. I mean, hopefully there's other games in mind down the road that we see this kind of release, and that, to me, that would just be awesome. You're getting 40K flavor in other ways, and that's win-win.
Yeah, I mean, we could see all kind of things like Marines versus whatever. Guarding a bastion or something. I don't know. There's a million different things you could spin off with this, but this is kind of, now I don't know if you remember hearing me talk about a couple of years ago. This is the way they need to be selling their models. Put bundles of value in there without it making it look like they're discounting their product.
Yeah. Well, they kind of did that too with some of these recent releases towards the tail end of 6. There was a IG bundle, I think. You saved like $30.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about necessarily when you put together a web bundle or whatever, where you obviously discount it, or Battle Force or whatever. I'm talking about this is a stealth hookup. You're getting.
Oh yeah.
So they're not devaluing, or at least apparently on the surface devaluing their product. What they're allowing you to do is buy this stuff for making it seem like, oh, they're just including this as miniatures as part of the game. So not as you get a Chaos Lord and 20 cultists for 10% off or whatever.
Touche. Yeah, good marketing. I mean, it's nice to see them doing that now. Like
and it's even more of an entry. Sorry to cut you off, but just going on the business side, it's a smooth entry into 40K. There's you love these assassin guys. Well, here's some rules how you could play them in the regular game. Oh, you like this chaos stuff? Well, you've already got kind of a nice little starter army here. It's not too much to get another box set, and then you're playing 40K.
That would be great, man. I mean, if we can see another resurgence of the hobby, Dawn of War, that boosted the hobby up. If this is a good way to increase more people to get into the hobby right now, God, you can't complain.
Yeah, I think it's great. My analysis is nothing more than just looking over it at kind of the surface level. I am so happy to continue to see things in this vein coming out and being a part of the game. Chris, we're talking about how the Assassins is almost like a 40K intro box in and of itself. I don't know if you've looked at the rumors of that.
I have, and I looked at some of the contents there and just thinking like, why did I buy 4 Assassins in the last couple of months?
Well, they're still cool figures. I mean, whatever. I mean, I think the older figures, they're one of the lines that actually have stood the test of time a little bit.
They're pretty iconic. Just even the top heavy nature of the Colexis Assassin is still pretty. It can look cool if you pose it right and if you give it a good paint job.
I love the come at me bro Vindicare. That dude's awesome.
Bill's saying that the Plasma Obliterator kit went together really well. He was just kind of surprised as well at the mold lines and stuff, and me too. I thought that they would, but they got to sell those mold line removers. Let me tell you, I was a sucker and I bought one. All right, now here's the deal. I called up Games Workshop and I ordered 2 of the classic Harlequin figures.
Yeah.
And I didn't have quite enough for free shipping. and it was going to be like $10 in shipping, or I could spend $15 and get something else plus the free shipping or whatever. So I got the mold line remover. You're right. I mean, I know. Pardon me. I apologize in advance. But it comes in a really, really nice box. Like that in itself is. The box feels good. It makes me feel like I made an elite purchase. Like I could have spent maybe just a couple of dollars less and got one from like Harbor Freight or whatever, but it's not going to give me that elite feel. And I think it's spending the extra few dollars. I didn't know it was going to come in this, but when I got it, I felt good about it. I'm like, hey, this is kind of neat because it's a really, really nice box it comes in.
It's funny that you say that, man, because I have the old mold line remover with that, kind of the black rubber shell on it, and it's real flexible and stuff like that. And when that new one came out, exactly what you're saying, the box art, all of it, I was like, man, this looks like how Da Vinci created all these things and stuff. Like that old picture of the dude. I don't know what it's called because I'm not learned, but
there is a name for it, and it escapes me right now too.
Yeah.
Hold on, which one are you describing again?
I think he's talking about the evolution of man or whatever. With the...
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, the dude, he's like doing like a jumping jack, and it's pretty.
Oh, the Da Vinci thing, yeah, the evolution of man. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but I think I'm close.
Yeah.
Ricky said he actually hit us up asking for some advice on a 500-point tournament. I wonder how did that go? Because I mean, you're here with us. I don't know if you got put out early, or is that if I got my day wrong. But so let us know. Okay, it's going to be impossible to avoid talking about Eldar as well.
Who?
Yep.
What are you talking about? No one knows about that.
Avalanche of Eldar with the D weapons. I don't know if y'all been checking out my Twitter and stuff, but I've been posting up pictures of my work in progress Eldar, and I'm actually pretty happy with them.
Yes, sir.
Now I understand that I'm going to have no friends. The internet would have me believe that no one's going to want to play me, and I will be sitting on the sidelines with my well-painted army, never getting to play.
Here we go. We got Ricky here hooking us up. Vitruvian Man, that's the right one.
There you go. That's it. So, what do you guys think about that? Would you actively avoid Eldar in pickup games, and would you, I guess, strike against tournaments if they do not check the Eldar menace?
Absolutely not.
I fear no man.
I like the challenge. I mean, last week I got completely stomped by this Eldar list, and the only thing it did was make me feel like I need to take this list back, never do it again, and do a new list and do better, because I beat this guy the last time we played before that, and I cannot remember getting more thoroughly stomped than I did last Tuesday night. So, no, I say bring it on. There's nothing more motivating to me than finding a really tough list and then beating it.
Do you think you have the tools with your existing army to actually armies to compete against some of the things that the Eldar have? I think that's kind of one of the main questions. And
by itself, I mean, I play the Blood Angels, as everybody knows. I don't know why I keep saying it, but by itself, it can struggle a little bit. That being said, you open it up more when you've got the Forge World stuff you can add in, and the allies you can put in, like Grey Knight allies. I think are great for Blood Angels. One of the combos I like to do is put Quickening on a Nemesis Dread Knight. So I've got this Strength 10 dude with a Mastercrafted sword with up to Initiative 7 or 8, and then a whole bunch of attacks.
I think that the Eldar don't really kill too much more than they used to kill anyway. They kill the same amount of things, the same type of things. Maybe not the amount, but the same type of things that they were good at killing before.
I think this is going to be a resurgence of Thunderhammer Storm Shields. That's been our jam for a long time.
Orcs don't care about D-weapons either. Zombies don't care about D-weapons.
Yeah, spam, MSU. Okay, cool, you got these dudes with these D weapons. Yeah, you took out that 5 scout squad. There's 5 more behind it. There's so many things that can do the trick. MSU is going to beat them in a lot of cases. A good sturdy unit's going to beat them in a lot of cases. Do they have enough volume? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be realistic to see 20 jet bikes with shuriken cannons around an avatar.
Yeah.
If they just pump out fire,
Those dudes, yeah, that's a
But
tough
at the
match,
same
though.
time, they're killing the same types of things that those things killed before.
Yes.
So I mean, again, I don't know it's as crazy as everyone is saying it is, but when you start adding in all these combos, when you've got 2 Wraith Knights and a Lynx or a Revenant Titan or whatever,
Okay, well that's an a-hole list.
It's gonna get rude, right? Yeah. So, Chris, yeah, no, 3 beers, that's easy. We can both drink those, and maybe the pain of all the D will ease up. And Dan, thanks for noticing the hearts. I am hoping that they know that I care. I mean, I've been an Eldar player. I mean, it was my first army, so, and I did. I've been avoiding them because of some of the, I guess, advantageous rules and that kind of stuff. And maybe these never go on the table, but I'm having a great time painting them. I've been practicing this vine technique for years, and I think I finally got it right. I want to at least play some pickup games, even if it's just here with them.
I tell you what, I will play you.
And if I got to buy the booze to make that happen, I'm fine with that. So.
I don't fear anything that they have to offer. There's tools in every army. We discussed this on the last podcast. There is no boogeyman. There's a way to beat everything. And honestly, yes, the book seems like it might be better. I'm going to say it's 3 to 5% better because it was already good. Yeah. So, just like you said.
I think you're dead on with your assessment. Now, with some lopsided dice, you could create some real feel bad experiences. Like when 1 unit of Wraith Guard comes down, or let's say 3 units of 5 Wraith Guard take out Adelants. There's gonna be some hard feelings on round 1. Like that could conceivably happen, but we haven't seen the actual rules. We don't know what the points of everything is gonna be yet. At least I don't.
Exactly.
That may be out there, but I don't know what the rules are yet. So
I'm avoiding
maybe it's going to be kind of close and comparable points wise.
Hey, real quick, guys, have you done shout-outs already?
We did some shout-outs, yeah.
Okay.
Si, senor.
Well, I just shout out a couple more. I'm going to clear some of these questions out real fast, if you don't mind. So we got Adam. Nearly all weapons of 40K are ridiculously oversized. That's what we love about it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here.
I do like that sometimes.
With Brian here. He says, "Dunno, guys. It's easy to say get smarter and play better, but range D may be the ultimate boogeyman. It isn't until you get into close combat."
Man, I'm with you. Well, range D, I mean, let's think of it this way, though. Even Overwatch, if you take the D size, I mean, that's punishing. It's so punishing. So, yeah, I agree with you. There are going to be some issues, but in that rock, paper, scissors idea, this may be the ultimate scissors, but like Typhus Zombie Horde that's been around for years now, might just roll all over this.
Yeah. I'll see your 10D shots and raise you 200 zombies.
Or Green Tide. Like, I'm a huge fan of Green Tide. And maybe that army could has the possibility of being at the top again in more than just one-off scenes or whatever. And I think that's what the game needs is diversity on the top table. And not that we don't have it. We have it. But there's certain things that have to struggle to get to the top. And now this may create some parity once you start going all the way over here on the other side with the Eldar.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Chandler. What's up, man? Doing great.
Lamont's got a good point is that it seems like the issue with the Eldar don't have to ally, where most of the Imperium has to go the allies route. Yes, but that's only a problem in tournaments that limit your ability to build a fully 7th edition list or army. Because I think the Imperium is designed to ally together. I mean, look at the Force Org chart of the Imperium. It's everywhere.
I mean,
that's just one man's opinion, though. So, but I mean, your point is very, very valid because not everyone lets you take this unlimited allies.
Well, good segue for something that I wanted to bring up. Chandler posted a Space Wolves list. He's not allying in. It's pure Space Wolves. That's his jam. He likes running pure Space Wolves. No detachments, no craziness behind it. Just a straight-up list. And it's a great list.
The Great Wolf?
No, it's not even that, man.
Wow.
Yeah, but go take a look at it, man. Go check out their Facebook page. Take a look at
that post. And I love
that
list.
It's
he's made recently, too.
Yeah. It's a great list. I myself play a single CAD Blood Angels list. And I'd probably say I'm about 65% win-loss ratio right now. A couple Decurions have given me a hard time, but I'm still trying to crack that code with my specific list. I'm not changing anything about my list.
David Egbert said he stabbed himself with one of those mold line removers. Man, yeah. Yeah, this is a dangerous hobby.
Yeah.
Seriously. I usually try and put a nice thick coat of glue over my fingers by doing some model assembly first before I
doing anything.
hit the knives, and then then my fingers are usually pretty safe.
Just picking up the Zapagab bottle seems to get glue all over my fingers. I don't even...
That's right.
This thing right here is the bane of my existence. I was drilling out holes.
A pin?
Yeah.
Or pin vise?
Drilling out the barrels. I have it sitting up because I'm a masochist, and I reach for something and I just slam my hand right on top of it every time.
Yeah, I went and bought a clamp from Home Depot, one of those like C clamps that you can just squeeze and it tightens up or whatever, to hold the bits that I plan on dremeling, because I've just had too many tense moments where I'm like trying to like close my eyes when I inevitably slip off into in my hand with this spinning rotary tool, or like I don't want to watch but I have to watch,
Oh man, we need to get like supplemental insurance for this hobby.
That's right. I wonder if there's a market or big enough market for that.
I'm already breaking the bank as it is. I don't need to pay more insurance.
That's right. Well, just think of all the Band-Aids it might save. Oh, I think they field dress wounds with super glue.
Yeah.
I've done it before. It's helpful.
Burns.
I mean, it was in Saving Private Ryan. I don't know. Anyway, so the
that was
Eldar,
morphine, Paul. Morphine. I don't think that's
okay.
on the hobby
Robert's got a good question about Skitarii. He says he's dreamed up running Adlance with a Sicarian Killcade. Justin, I think you were talking about something like that.
That's the Dragoon-looking dudes, the Walker dudes. That's kind of what I'm looking into right now. I'm trying to see how I can get some of those autocannons, some of those last cannons in there, and just put out a good quality volume of fire. AV11, it's not strong, but with enough of it, I don't know. I need to play test it. I think it's going to be good.
Well, how many points, I guess, are you running? Because with that Adlance, not you, Justin, but because that's going to determine what's left over. Adlance takes a lot of points. I mean, it's a fine amount of points for all the special rules that you get. I think it's pretty much the only way to run the knights. I don't like running a single regular old Imperial Knight in a list. Most of the time, it's got to be a very special combination. But Adlance seems to put it right there in the perfect points to effectiveness range.
Well, the way that I was looking at my original build was about 1,100 points of other stuff, and then use the rest of those points in an 1850 format, of course. Use the rest of those points with Skitarii, and I got some of the Rangers in there, and then I got 2 blocks of 4 with 1 last cannon in each of those the Dragoon guys, and that Killcade kind of thing. And I think that's where you got the dudes in the backfield with that 30-inch rapid fire. You can hold down some back objectives or move up a little bit if you got to, but you got long range volume of fire that's quality, and I think there's going to be some balance that needs to be done. There's going to be some tests, more to follow.
Bosscar 40K is saying Sternguard are useless against Wraith Knights now, and I think that's unfortunately true. I mean, outside of combi multis.
Yeah, and even those, it's hit or miss. I mean, 50% chance to wound. And one went off. Yeah, I'm gonna miss that.
Yeah, I mean, is that too far? I don't know that it's too far though. I mean, Wraith Knights. I mean, they're imposing. They look great. They're an expensive kit. They look good, well painted up. Do they need better rules?
I was thinking, just randomly about rocking one of those Furioso Librarian Dreadnoughts with Quickening and Force and throwing that at a Wraith Knight, because he would hit first. It's Strength 10, Force, so you could potentially get him in one go if you can get Quickening off.
You have to get a lot of wounds because instant death just doesn't do it.
It's
it does, what, D3? D3
yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Death, right?
So, but you have to get a bunch of those wounds, though. I mean, you're
2 or 3. 2 or 3 will do it.
Odds aren't looking good. Oh, I don't know if I do that.
Minigun 2s. I mean, it's with a higher weapon skill. I mean, I think it's possible. I'm not saying that it's like the ultimate answer.
No, it's better than nothing. But that's what we're talking about. Like, anytime we see things that seem powerful, it's a chance to go back and look at our favorite codexes and find things that might be beneficial.
Shoot.
It might work in whatever the current environment is, because the environment's going to change. We're not going to see people just running wave service spam anymore. I mean, although it's not terrible, but there's better things out there. Like Fire Dragon's getting an extra +1 on the chart. That gives them +3 if the AP1 weapons stay the same.
Well, I think Sean Brown's got the right idea. He's late, but he's working on a squat commission. I think that's the answer to Wraith Knights. It's just be so small that they don't see you, and I don't know, maybe bite the knee
Squats used to pack vortex grenades and other things like that.
I like it. Welcome, Sean. Glad you're here.
Chris, I like your treatise here on commie meltas. 50% of the time they work all the time.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's about right. I don't think I've ever hit with one, so.
Anthony's coming in and saying 295 points for a Wraith Knight is bananas, and he sounds like that's too much. They should be a smooth 250 points.
Smite me, oh mighty smiter.
I think 290s, it could probably have went up to 315. I think I would felt better.
I was thinking 320 is where they were going to be. I really did. I did not expect them to be able to get that because with this host, the Elf Kyrian, whatever I can't remember, the War Host or something. That's what I'm going to call it, the War Host, Elf Kyrian. You can get, I think in a reasonable list, 2 or 3 Wraith Knights without even worrying about it. And if you're an Eldar player, you probably already have them because you bought them because they were so awesome when the kit came out.
Yeah. I don't know. They're a little aggressively pointed. I think that maybe a couple more points would have been better, but whatever. Say Levy.
I mean, as a straight Lord of War choice, all right, that is a fine number of points for what it, fine. But the fact that you can take, if we were limited to force organization charts, but we're not anymore. The whole idea of a force org is almost vanished. We are looking at straight battlefield roles now.
Yeah.
And then these combinations of formations.
I love them too.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be cool when everybody gets them. It's what we always say. When everybody gets them, it's going to be great.
Steve Yulee.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, Steve Yulee has a question that's close to my heart. BA question: if you had to run a Death Company themed character with a Death Company, which would it be? Basic Chaplain, the Martez, or Astarath? And for me, I feel like Astarath is the best way to multiply their effectiveness. If you put them with jump packs and you get them into combat before someone blasts them off the table out of fear. But that's what do you guys think?
He's valuable. I would say save points and just throw a Chaplain.
Well, didn't they lower his points? So isn't he like 160 something now?
165.
Yeah, he's cheaper.
That in itself makes him, again, it's one of those things to go take a look at him. And he's such a beautiful model.
Yeah, love it.
AP2, instant death on 6s. Seems good.
Rerolling wounds for the Death Company, that's the only way to get that now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only way you can do that.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that's what I would go with. If you're not running them with a jump pack, or you have a different mode of delivering them, just as right, just go with a regular Chaplain.
Plus, again, the Chaplain, even Astarath will do this if he has Forge World, but the Chaplain will let you take more than one relic vehicle. So that, any Chaplain character also is okay with that, according to the conversation they had with Forge World. But to be safe, just put the Chaplain in there. Any 100 points if you put Melta Bombs and an Auspex on him.
A Sanguinary Priest is not Undeath Company either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he'll boost their weapon skill by 1, and that's always useful.
And
their old jam.
There's all kind of cool modeling opportunities for the Blood Angels. I love it. So you're not going to go wrong. I think in order of importance, if you're going to be running with jump packs, Astarath is a no-brainer. Lamartine isn't bad either if you're running with jump packs. It's kind of choose your poison at that point. And then Chaplain, then Priest. Tim's got a good question, and I don't want to lose it here in the stack. He says, so let me ask this. Would you feel differently if, let's say, Space Wolves would have D for all the Thunderhammer and D weapons for their flyers? Would you feel it would be fair? I don't know what you're actually fishing for as an answer here, so let me just be as openly honest as possible. I think there should be some variation in what armies can do, and I think you should definitely have some more aggressive armies and then more defensive armies and armies that are the rocks and the scissors and the papers and all this other kind of stuff. if it worked out where the Space Wolves needed to be one of those scissor armies, I'm completely fine with them having a bunch of D weapons on their flyers and whatever, but we can already put out, I mean, I routinely roll 30 strength 10 attacks or whatever with those guys. I'm not sure.
Just as good.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it's fine if they had that, or if they had a character that gave them Ds or whatever. I'd be fine with it. But ultimately what I want is just balance between the armies and what you can take in a battle forged army.
Family Gamers, I don't know how I feel about this comment. I cares about you too.
We love you too. We love you too.
That's how I'm going to choose to read that.
Sounds good. But Tim on the other side says if the rumors are true about the Eldar, he won't play against them, and he thinks they're broken. But I mean, it's going to be strong. I'm not going to say it. There's going to be some shell shock, and we're going to have to, as a community, come together and figure out, how to deal with them if we play armies other than Eldar.
Yeah, and there's other means of media that you can look to. The people are going to crack the Eldar code.
Oh yeah, we're going to do it right here on the show. Yeah, we're going to do it on the show.
It's not unbeatable.
Robert has a comment. He says just play Khorne and punch the Eldar in the face.
Right. I got a D-thirster.
Like to say hello to Clint, or from the land down under, good eye, mate.
That was really good.
Dan's saying that we know more than we're let on with the Wraith Knight, as far as the points values. Now, I honestly don't have any insight into the points, but we thought they were going to be available because it's a good kit, probably has a great margin, and they want to sell it. And it even looks good on the table. Like when somebody's walking by the table, they'll stop and say, "What is that big old thing you got on the table?"
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe I should start this game and buy this model.
Yeah.
If you're going to pick one model to start the game with, that one is not a horrible choice in any respect.
It's easy to build. It's easy to build too,
really?
for the most part.
And fairly easy to magnetize.
Yep. Chandler's asking, will the Eldar be the last big release for the ATC? I think the way they've got it set up is that anything released before July 1, is that what it says on the website, is able to be used? That means anything. If we happen to get, say, something like Cult Mechanicus before then that would also be useful. Or used. Might be useful, might not be useful.
Yeah. Smile.
I can't look. John Blanche is one of my favorite artists. I probably have 3 or 4 paintings or prints by him on my wall. One of the tensest moments I've ever had as a 40K gamer is trimming off a 1/4 inch from both sides of the Mortarion Primarch print to fit in the frame that I bought. Because I didn't want to. I trimmed off a 1/4 inch, and it was one of them. I mean, I measure twice, cut once. I probably measured about 47 times, and had to have breathing exercises before I cut. My wife was watching the whole
sweat cloth.
This is not an exaggeration. It's hanging on the wall. Yeah.
Dab your forehead for you.
like a doctor in surgery, man.
Void Ray's Prime's got a good question. He says, speaking of the Blood Angels, anyone actually use the Dreamcrusher 3 Storm Raven formation yet? He's interested more for the 3 first-turn Storm Ravens and 30 combat Marines. Yeah. Justin, you're just the right crew for talking about that.
I use it all the time. It's so awesome. The volume of fire when you drop down that the 30 Marines give you, you're rapid firing in a lot of cases, so you have just huge quantity of fire, and it's quality in most cases. Shoot at what you know you're going to kill. And then you have 3 Storm Ravens. You can bring them in, board control with those bases. You got your Marines all lined up. You can spread them out pretty decently. You got your 3 Storm Ravens. You're shutting off so many avenues for your opponent. You control literally the whole midfield and beyond at that point. And it's just shots, man. Just everywhere. Just dice all over the place.
That's what we like. We like dice everywhere.
I think it's fun
Yeah.
when you put that much red in your opponent's face on turn 1. They're liable to make mistakes, and that's going to be to your advantage because Marines are very durable. If you're able to get some feel no pain on these guys, which we know is possible, then you've created a very durable force that is in your opponent's face. And in Blood Angels, even Tac Marines charging somebody they're going to do damage.
Mm-hmm.
They dislodge most things that they charge when they charge the correct things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's an important caveat on there, because if you're charging a Wraith Knight with your squad attack Marines, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
But if you're charging...
Sanguinius does not approve.
No. Yeah, Sanguinius wants the Wraith Knight for himself for breakfast. But the things you can charge, like Fire Warriors, or Orc Shootas, or you name an infantry that's toughness 4 or less, they're going to feel the hurt. See, I like to, and I haven't run Dream Crusher yet. My third Storm Raven is here. I haven't put it together yet. That's the only thing holding me back at this point. But I don't mind putting some power weapons on my sergeants, or maybe putting a character or two on those Storm Ravens. Not a super expensive character that's just going to get shot out, because they're going to shoot that Storm Raven first if they can, Interceptor, Skyfire, whatever. But you charge a squad of power armored somethings or a squad of battle suits, and you've got somebody in there with an AP3 sword, then you're putting on a whole lot more wounds. Like I just love it.
Yeah, I think the Power Fist is probably too expensive to invest on the tack squad.
I agree.
And the Power Sword might even be too expensive.
Yeah,
but you're all right. It may give you enough to win combat res, and to push people off the table pretty quick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It kind of goes back to the rock paper scissors thing. Here you go. Here's your competitive tip of the day. Think about what you're going to charge. Do that math in your head really quick. If I throw 15 dice at this dude, what am I hitting on? Do the math. What am I wounding on? Do the math. Is it going to wipe him out? If not, is it going to cause a fear test and let me try to overrun him or something? You have to do all that math in your head. You have like a minute to do it. If you're me, don't get on your phone because it takes too long. But just think about it in your head.
Instinctual math. It's the basis of all 40K.
Yeah. Just
on that subject,
look at what you're doing.
Yeah, sorry, Justin. You completely agree with everything you just said. Ed Black's got a question here, one that I've talked about a few times. Do you think the Dream Crusher rules allow for a first turn deep strike assault on drop pods? I'm wondering if that Augur rule can be used the same the turn the Storm Ravens come on. Now the answer is no. You can't assault out of drop pods. I feel like you should, because they're assault vehicles in the sense that they're open top, but the same turn that they come in, like if your drop pods are coming in turn 1, the Storm Ravens are coming in at the same time, the teleport homers have to be on the table for at least a turn anyways. So what do you guys think about that?
I think that bears some review.
Yeah, I think that you can. I mean, it specifically says Blood Angels are the best, and
we will debate that ad nauseum and talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Chandler's got a good question here. He says, "Do we think there's going to be any data slates released in response to the Eldar? Not intentionally. I don't think. I think Marines are going to come and be the counter to the Eldar that they have always been." But at the same time, the Eldar are the counter to the Marines. But it's not going to be indirect response. It's going to follow the natural release chain that we've got. But we're probably going to see Marines before the end of the summer, or at least before we get into fall.
I mean, the Grav Centurions are still going to make Wraith Knights have a hard time. I mean, the Grav is still going to hurt them.
Yeah, and if I had to bet, we're going to see, and I published an article today, I think we're going to see more Grav in the Imperium.
Yeah. Yeah, it was well received, I think.
But that's all. I mean, it's all speculation, but at the same time, I think that's where we're going. But probably that could be, Chandler, what they're doing is like, hey, we're going to make this stuff pretty crazy, but you know what kills it? A bunch of shots of Grav from the Imperium.
Yeah, the tools are there, man.
This kind of chess match and who can get the positioning on who, but it goes back to our tactics of jumping out of buildings, out of Storm Ravens, out of drop pods, and whatever. I think podding Grav is going to be very, very popular coming up soon.
Yeah.
Not that it's not popular now, but
you we're talking about Melta Sternguard. What about Grav Sternguard in a pod next to a Wraith Knight? That seems good. I mean, you're not going to get as many points as if you're standing still, but it's still a fair number of shots, and it's still going to have the same effect.
Relentless?
There is a warlord trait, I believe, that is in the Blood Angels first company, the Archangels, that gives your squad. Or no, wait, it's an Imperial Guard one. There's an Imperial Guard warlord trait that gives someone relentless.
No,
So
that's not good enough.
let's see. I'm just reaching here. This is just coming out of
Hey,
my head.
this is we're gonna figure it out and sit on this show eventually. You know how to beat the Eldar Menace.
We will crack the code.
Yeah, and I think that we will see a resurgence of like big, powerful characters that can hide within hordes. You know, whether it be conscripts or zombies or orcs or whatever, that will roll up on these things. They don't care about some lucky snapshots with D weapons or whatever.
Everybody's so focused on like the Wraith Knights and the D and this and that too. Like, there's so many other things about this codex. The way that it seems like it's shaping up, it looks like it's a Marine book, right? It's called Craft Worlds. Think about the different side of it, other than like the sky is falling part, right? Can we get that Sam Heim thing?
Bless you.
Build, yeah, right.
It looks all
these different things. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways that it looks like it's scheduled, or not scheduled, but sectioned off to build these fluffy armies.
It does look like it, and we haven't talked near enough about the Aspect Warriors. I think the Warp Spiders are going to be a pretty good distraction unit. If people are shooting at your Warp Spiders, then it's going to allow you to do some pretty good things with the rest of your army that doesn't have any defense or has limited defense.
On that note, too, another unit that I saw, I love, Swooping Hawks. I saw somewhere, it didn't look like it was valid, 18 inches on a movement, and you can vector strike flyers? What?
With everybody, with a haywire attack.
With a haywire attack.
Like, I don't care. I mean, that'll take down a Thunderhawk.
It's beautiful.
Haywire is out of control. Haywire is one of those kind of almost like get out of jail free cards. It's tough to process. Yeah. Oh, it's a spoiler. It really is. Clint's got a good question. He says, "Are Space Wolves with no allies still worth taking?" Yes, Space Wolves have answers to almost everything.
Yes.
All day, every day.
And again, on the Haywire thing, on my Sakaran, I always spend the 25 points for the Legacy of Glory, the Schism of Mars, which gives me a 4+ invulnerable against Haywire.
That's pretty good.
On top of Tank Hunter. It's 25 points, you get Tank Hunter.
Probably worth it, yeah.
A 4+ invulnerable save against Haywire, and if you're shooting at a Demon Engine, you get a +1 ballistic skill with your already twin-linked Assault Cannon of Doom. So basically, there's not a vehicle that this thing
ridiculously cheap.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best upgrades you can buy for it.
Lamont's got a good answer for it. He says, just throw more Ogren launchers. I got one right here. It is ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is going to stop the Eldar, and it might actually with this gun on the front. But
the compensator.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, this is a good question. Tim, I don't know the answer to this, at least not offhand. If instant death to a 3-wound character in the Necrons, how many reanimation protocol rolls does he make?
That's a good question.
You roll once or for each wound, and you only come back with 1 wound? I think the answer is you just roll once.
Yeah.
And then he comes back with 1 wound. But I'm probably going off of how the old codex was worded. I don't know if there's any new wording in the current codex. Maybe somebody can help out from the chat. But I certainly don't want to steer you wrong.
I'm going to write that down too to remember if we don't.
Yeah, Ricky says his 500-point tourney is tomorrow, but he is taking the Skitarii, so tell us how it goes.
So you
like
won.
You said.
And then Steve's saying he thinks the Corn book could be good versus the Eldar. Fast enough to catch the bikes and fearless fearless units sign up the Wraith Knights. I think so too. But that you can hide like a big old Corn Lord or some allies from the Chaos Marines in a big unit of Flesh Hounds, and you've got a powerhouse unit that does exactly what we were talking about. It kills things and it's durable.
Well, and if you put the Flesh Hounds on those bigger bases, say you do put it up next to a Wraith Knight or whatever, the Stomp's not going to cover as many bases.
My 50 mil bases came in the mail today. I'm pretty happy about that.
That's a serious tactic, and the Flesh
board
Hounds
control is huge, man. And like if you play Marines, spring for the base, the 32 mil bases, it will make a difference. and I was going to say sizable difference, but it makes a huge difference in the tactics and how you play, what you can do.
Attaboy, Justin.
It's big, you know,
Yeah.
and it's worth it. Take advantage of the things the games gives us. This helps, like you were just talking about, Chris, is that it's when you get stomped out or whatever, they're going to be able to cover less models.
Yep.
And it just looks great. I mean, I'm
take
putting my
advantage
first
of
squad
that too.
together.
Yeah, take advantage of the way it looks. Put some cool things on your base or whatever. So.
Of course, I just drop the ones I pick up. But yeah,
I drop every model I've ever painted.
These guys, it's been really fun to do the base on them. I mean, they look better. They look more intimidating, and it gives me more space to do what I want with the base. So, I know.
Spoiler alert, stuff doesn't fall over.
Yeah, just back in the Eldar a little bit. I want to talk some nice things about it. They have made lots of things in the army worth taking. I haven't really seen that many what I would consider wallpaper units. You know, things that will always just stay on the shelf and will never. I can't find a single reason I would play X, Y, or Z. It seems like they've done a good job in making the entire codex attractive, and we don't really see that very often. That's
balance, I believe, is the word.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's balanced compared to the rest of the codices, but it definitely, from a collector and a hobby standpoint, I feel like I can kind of paint and build and buy whatever I want, and it's not going to just take up space on my shelf.
Yeah, it was going back to what we were saying the other day too. Is you're getting the opportunity to use everything in your arsenal effectively as long as you kind of know what you're doing with it. I think you'll do fine with it, and there's nothing that seems like you're saying weak anymore. I don't like to use that word because everything has a place.
Tax. We've got something like, I think you have to buy a Viper and one of those batteries, the weapon batteries, to open up these formations. Well, we haven't seen the weapons, we haven't seen the points. So I mean, if the Viper's 200 points, I mean, it's not going to be. It's going to be like 60 points.
Well, that brings up something that I really like that you said that, Paul, is that we don't have the codex yet. I mean, we still don't have the codex, and we're already trying to figure out how to beat the rumors for this codex. It seems like we do that a lot. Of course we do that a lot. We're all
That's how I spend my time, man. When 40K stopped doing that, that's when I bought less 40K. Yeah. You know, now I'm what I do now is the same thing. Is I buy for the army I want that's coming out that I want to play. I figure out what my armies that I like that I've been playing that I don't have or that I already have, what they need to fight what I'm building, and then it's like this create. That's how this hobby goes around. But, sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I mean, but a lot of the hoopla and the hubbub and the, I mean, even Ed's comment here. I love your comment, Ed. Here's my formula. If Wraith Knight equals Lord of War, then a person taking multiple detachments for multiple Wraith Knights to get multiple D weapons is a single D bag. I want you to write that equation and send it to us. And
Solves for D.
I feel like that. Solve for D. Put that on a shirt.
No.
That'd be great. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to be doing an article soon about player guilt, like army guilt. I talked about it a little bit on the last podcast, but I really want to get into it a little bit more about how people should stop feeling bad about playing good things as long as they're communicating well with their opponent. Or, I mean, you go into a tournament, you have to acknowledge you're stepping into that environment where people are going to bring stuff where they want to win, and you shouldn't feel necessarily bad about wanting to win. I want to see Eldar played, and even if they are this faction that people are going to roll their eyes at. Paul, how many fun games do you think you missed out on because you didn't play Eldar this last edition?
Yeah, probably at least a handful. I'd probably say one or two.
But yeah, I mean,
I'm kidding. More. You can build a responsible list when you're playing with your buddies, but when you're trying to win a tournament, take whatever you can.
Yeah.
But make it look good too, man. There's nothing worse with somebody showing up whatever the flavor of the month is, looking like they painted their army with a roller.
Or just didn't paint them at all.
Yeah,
you're not going to see that at a major event. Yeah.
You got to have respect for, the people you're playing against, respect for yourself, and respecting the tournament you're going to.
I like that too.
Even
Go ahead, bud.
Sorry. Well, even the major events that when the big changes, I think when we transitioned to 7th, somebody threw an event. I want to say it was War Games Con, the Texas one. They allowed you to bring like one unit that wasn't painted because everything changed and the whole, But I don't think anybody brought an unpainted unit still. It was at least to the 3-color minimum. So when you go to these major events, you're not going to see that too much. I mean, it's maybe some of the RTTs and stuff, but more often than not, these major events, man, you're getting good, beautiful armies.
Well, yeah, I mean, it obviously happens. It's a logistics thing, and sometimes you have somebody calls you up and says they want to play, but they don't have the army. Most tournament organizers don't say no, but it's one of those things. You want good-looking stuff there because that's what people are going to remember when they go home and talk about your event is all the cool things that they saw. I mean, they're games too, but part of it is really big about what that they saw that they came there. So. Eldar, we know they're a thing.
Yep.
AdMech, we got some things, things to build, keep us tided over until we get more stuff coming out later. This Assassin game is going to be cool. I cannot wait to see how that plays, and the models are pretty. They got spoiled today. The models look nice.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely going to release them in their own clan packs. But I think the game is got a good value to it, especially if you're a cast player and didn't get all your cultists back when they were, where they were.
That's kind of what I want to farm out of this is cultists. But I mean, kind of going back to what you were saying, Paul, about events and respecting the event and the spirit of the event. Like as I've been trying to prepare for the Gladiator games that I'm helping organize. One of the feedback comments that we received in a survey we put out for the last year was that there was no enforcement for the painting guide that was put out, the painting requirements basically that was put out for the event. And I remember one of the guys, because last year I wasn't involved in organizing, I was just playing. I remember one of the guys had just a straight plastic on bare basis squad, and
that's difficult to see.
I shot them mercilessly with my Fire Raptor for their sins. But one of the things that I feel like is important as part of the game is respecting that rule. And yes, there is a certain level of understanding that a TO can put out. But if there is a preset rule, a preset guideline, I think the TO also has a responsibility to the other people who complied with that to enforce it. What do you guys think?
I completely agree, but the only way to really enforce it is through points.
Yeah.
And make it matter. Like with the seasonal, we did you could earn full points, and it was enough to make sure that if you played well, you were going to have a shot at winning, and it was enough to where even if you played pretty good, you weren't winning the overall event because you didn't have the few points that you needed.
Yeah, that balance was really nice, and just when you look at the spread too. There was a lot of really beautiful armies there, and a lot of really great generals. And the point spread was so close; it was awesome. Probably the best point-for-point structure I've seen.
I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. I think on the podcast we'll probably try to get an answer for that Necron question. Yeah. And I want to talk about. I'm gonna be trying to play some more games of Armada this week. I know we didn't talk about it at all, but I think it's a real solid game. What I have heard explained is that X-Wing is more of your kind of casual, dogfighty type game, and then Armada is your general's game.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think you do have to plan a little bit further ahead. You're forced to by the game, and that's probably why people are getting that impression.
I had the local guy here. The way he told me, he said to make it palatable for you, X-Wing is 40K, Armada is fantasy. You have to think about the big blocks of movement and stuff like that. It's a little bit different.
I love being able to TIE fighters, and in my mind they're dogfighting or whatever, and
of
course I like
ramming
my ships straight down into the other ships. It's always fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play X-Wing. These guys are on Armada. I'm on X-Wing.
Good. You represent that X-Wing. All right, that's good. I'll give you something to talk about. Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap us up. Anything you want to cover before we get out of here?
No, I just probably say thank you to everybody who participated. There were a lot of good comments today. Ed, I think Wraith Knight is a good center of attention. I hope the Avatar's rules do get better, so it becomes that beast that we want it to be. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us.
Hey, hit us up on
Ben's coming in and
iTunes.
says, on the Necron Lord and the instant death wouldn't take effect until he failed the reanimation protocol, and it feels like feeling no pain would ignore the wound. But if he actually dies, then you roll it. But
Yeah. I'll still look
maybe
into
so.
it too.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely look into it. But thanks for that comment. And then Eric's saying that he spends hours with every model, and it's a disrespect to him if other people don't do something similar. At least show up with that effect, whether they get it pro painted or buy it off eBay or do it themselves. They're at least showing they're communicating they care as much about the hobby and are invested the same amount that you are, and that's awesome. That's all we want.
Yeah, and we don't want to shame people about not painting either, because it could be just this kid coming to his first thing and he's just getting into it, and we don't want to come on hard on someone that's starting out, because we all started at that point. We all had that time where we weren't the best at painting, we weren't the best at
I'm the worst
getting it
painter
ready.
ever. Y'all think juice is bad? Are you kidding?
Well, guys, thanks a lot for joining me tonight. Thanks for all the questions and the comments that we got in the chat. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. Listen to the podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Good night, guys.
Yep. See ya.